Here are all the tracks so far for the 2023 Atlantic hurricane season. It has been a busy season so far. We've had 14 storms, 4 hurricanes, 3 major hurricanes. On average, through September the 11th, we would expect 8 named storms, 3 hurricanes, 1 major hurricane. And there's the August forecast for the amount of storms that NOAA expects. 14 to 21, 6 to 11 hurricanes, and 2 to 5 major hurricanes. Hurricane Lee still a major hurricane with winds of 120 miles per hour with gusts up to 150, moving towards the northwest at 7 miles per hour. Here's the forecast. Do expect it to stay basically on this track over the next couple of days and then turn more towards the north. It will weaken as it's going to be kind of over some slightly cooler water conditions. So expectation is for it to get a little bit stronger. It looks like possibly as early as tomorrow, then weaken a little bit. Here are the spaghetti models over the next 7 days, and you'll notice pretty good consensus here, but then they spread out a little bit. But I will say parts of the Northeast certainly need to watch this storm very closely. Here are the tropical storm force wind forecasts. And you can see here for Hurricane Lee, and no doubt tropical storm force winds are going to be impacting possibly Bermuda, and they are going to be pretty big at that point as the storm continues to get a little bit wider. At least those winds continue to get a little bit wider. Hurricane force winds continue to move generally towards the northeast part of the United States. For us here across the southeast, you're talking about increased rip current risk, but the European model showing this thing moving towards the northeast again. Can't totally rule that out, but something we'll continue to monitor. And this is the American model showing kind of that same forecast, but it brings it a little bit farther towards the west. Talking about maybe even over towards parts of Massachusetts, maybe even Connecticut, but the Northeast certainly has to watch this one very closely. Here are the forecast comparisons. This is the European and the American model overlaid on top of each other, and you can kind of see that same agreement moving this towards the northeast. So again, this is a storm we'll continue to monitor over the next few days. Tropical storm Margot out there, the T is silent. I know it's a little bit odd, but the T is silent on this one, and it's going to continue to gain a little bit of strength, possibly becoming our next hurricane. Not expect to really gain much in the way of strength, but possibly our next hurricane. Watching this area, Hurricane Center gives it a 10% chance, low chance for that to develop. And also, you notice that wave coming off the West African coast, they give that a 50% chance of further development. So far, though, we've had those 14 storms out there. Lee, the major hurricane, Margot possibly becoming our next hurricane. And you can see that list of names. We'll continue to track the tropics because it is a very long season. Hurricane season officially ends November 30th.